the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up!
Welcome everybody to another episode of This is CorbinCenter, and right away, as you know, I always appreciate when I get a new member of my Patreon community. So this one, big shout out goes to Marco. You get the call out on this one. You get the Corbinite Recognition. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being a member of the of the community, and this is great. But look, I have a lot of positive things to talk about, but I feel like on this episode there's gonna be some negatives, and me being me, I don't want to focus on those things. But who am I kidding? It's a lot more fun to talk about those. Now, I just had a match with Brandon Gore in Timebomb, a very stacked show, 5-year anniversary, amazing. Ultimo Dragon was there. He beat Eric Cannon, which I was super happy by. I mean, at least there's always some silver lining, even though I didn't win my match. But the biggest thing is, don't start counting me out yet. I don't. There's so many people that take all these things and they're like, Darin, your success in Timebomb, you haven't won. You've been on a losing streak. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other thing. And look, I'm not worried about it. You don't sweat. Stop sweating about it. Stop even fretting, even making it a big deal. I always win the more important matches anyway, and I continue to do that. So if I ever get the opportunity, I will win those matches, the big ones. Brandon Gore, congratulations, you scored this victory over me, but let's face it, you will never duplicate this success again at Timebomb. So take this is your ceiling, mine. I have no glass ceiling. I break it all the time. I exceed expectations, and when I talk about winning big matches, that's what I'm talking about coming up here, this tag team championship match at Pro Wrestling Battleground, and it's going to be Corbin cometh. Finally, these tag team championships who have gone back and forth between pretty much the same teams, and now you're throwing in a little bit of fresh blood in here. Why hasn't the best tag team in Minnesota been involved in this scene? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because I was winning other championships. I was breaking out at 39 years old, 19 years still in this business, beating all these young whippersnappers. So when you say losing streak this, losing streak that, just remember, I win the matches I'm supposed to win. Just like we will win these tag team championships, and it will be making me the greatest Triple Crown champion in the history of Pro Wrestling Battleground. How often have I got to say those words where I've held every championship that a promotion has to offer? So, I mean, I've even been a Grand Slam champion in another promotion, so let's go with that. But I and Lore, the two of us, are going to win those Pro Wrestling Battleground Tag Team Championships. And then First Wrestling, we're back with 2 shows. One, as you can tell, all ages, bring the kids, have fun, blah, 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 all this fun stuff that you want to do. Families welcome, all this stuff. But get the hell out when we hit 7 p.m. because that is going to be the 18 plus event, and that's where I'm going to shine. That's where I don't have to deal with families and kids. That's where I can say whatever I want. And the biggest thing is everyone's always like, hey, Corbin, why don't you just say what you want all the time? Well, look, I have to be careful. I understand that part of being a pro wrestler is making sure that when it comes time for these events that you, I wouldn't say play by the rules, but you bend just enough to follow the parameters which you are in, because it is important to me that I continue to be booked, that I continue to be in the spotlight, and I continue to show First Wrestling exactly what kind of person I am. And if I were to say something and not be able to do these shows again, how am I going to tell these little booger pickers that they should never have been born in the first place? So I always play the game, and I have been smart to it this whole time. I can do more on a show than getting banned from a show, and First Wrestling would hate to have to ban me, their top draw, over something so petty. Now, speaking of promotions that just can't quite figure out what to do in my absence, we have 2. First of all, I see this post of bed sheets and talking about something your mom when you hear Josh Price is coming back to wrestle. And let me be the first one to tell you, no one has ever been that excited about Josh Price wrestling ever before in their entire life. And honestly, when I looked at it, I thought somebody pissed the bed. And maybe that was the deal. Maybe somebody was so upset and had a nightmare about Josh Price coming back. Maybe they pissed the bed. Maybe his kids pissed the bed because they realized that the last time that he got into a ring when he shouldn't have, he ended up with a chair around his neck and got put in the hospital again. See, you talk about why I don't want to be there and why I'm threatening to boycott and so on and so forth. Actually, we are just in negotiation, and the biggest negotiation, let me put it to you right now, the thing I am talking to Destination Pro about is wiping free any potential liability, any potential fault that I could have as a result of what happens. You've seen what I've done to your dad, you've seen what I've done to you, you've seen what I've done to other talent, or we're gonna do to other talent, and the reason why you're coming back is for revenge, and you're coming back too soon. We all know that. Neck injuries don't just fix themselves. You thought you would take some time off and it would get better. In your absence, you were supposed to be the local boy who's supposed to hold this company high up, but yet I'm the guy who's got it on my shoulders, and thank God my neck is okay because I'm carrying this company in your absence. And the only thing that happens when you're around is your family gets hurt. So, if you're wondering why I'm threatening not to show up in Thief River Falls, one, it's Thief River Falls. That's a good enough reason to never go there ever again. But two, I want to make sure that whatever does happen doesn't fall back on me for doing or being provoked in a match, just like when you showed up in a battle royal that you shouldn't have ever shown up in. And if I want to attack the mayor, I can attack the mayor. But I don't want to have the blame fall solely on me for why this big potential Ralph show or anything with Destination Pro doesn't fall through, because you'll paint me in the worst light to try and make yourself look better. But you can't keep me in the dark and expect yourself to shine, because even if there's a glimmer of me coming through, I have been 100% the spotlight at Destination Pro. Now, the other promotion, and I'm sure we'll have more to talk about. I'm sure there's going to be a rebuttal here soon. But there's another promotion that, funny, I was sitting at home, and it was October 15th, and I saw that an event went down for Second Wrestling. And yes, I know I'm suspended. This is nothing new to me. Absolutely 100% nothing new. And I was sitting at home, and I thought to myself, I was pretty busy with Second Wrestling. It's the only promotion that's ever allowed me to ginger snap a rabbi. You saw that happen. But then apparently I took it one step too far over the summer, and all of a sudden the rabbi tripped and fell, but I was in vicinity trying to check on him, and when the cameras rolled around, they saw me drive off. And, again, there's no proof of anything that happened, which I thought it was interesting that I'm sitting at home losing money, not being booked on a show, watching Eric Cannon lose, which I would have loved to see in person. And I think I had maybe a moment of FOMO. I was missing out a little bit. I was missing out on all the fun moments. So I reached out to Second Wrestling. I went around Rabbi Fine, and I just inquired. I was like, why are we doing this? You know that you need me. And I couldn't help but think that maybe if I was there, I could have added another loss to Eric Cannon's column in our prestigious rivalry and taken a championship that I know means so much to him. And the idea that that championship that also means so much to Rabbi Fine would have been around the waist of his worst enemy. Oh, gosh, I feel like I missed a huge opportunity. So I reached out. I did. I absolutely reached out, and we're currently in negotiations trying to resolve the suspension, because why am I sitting at home when you absolutely need me to make your shows better? And the deal is if the rabbi can't get over it, Rabbi Fine, that you want to get your hands on me, but you are a man of peace, so you could never do it. And I know that you would want to see me get my comeuppance, and it's not enough for you to have me sit at home, Because the deal is you thought that I'd be out of sight, out of mind, but as long as I have a forum that I've created for myself with no thanks to Second Wrestling and no thanks to you, I can say whatever I want, and I can address things however I want. So when you make a social media post talking about, this potential appeal of suspension, how you're doing me such a big favor, what I'm going to tell you is, on my side of it is, I'm sick of sitting back and not having an opportunity to come and make money and wrestle at this promotion and do all the things I should be doing, winning championships and making your life a living hell. These are things that I can't do from here, but there are definitely a lot of things that I can say out here and put you in your place. You can't get rid of me. Josh Price, you can't get rid of me. One of these days, both of you are going to have to face me head on. You're going to have to face the nightmare that you've created. Every time you sleep, you know that someday it's going to happen. The fans are going to want it to happen because they're going to think that you will get to put me in my place. You're going to be able to show me the error of my ways. But what you know or what you fear is that you won't be able to physically be capable of doing it when it actually happens. So you don't want this appeal to go through. You don't want me to not show up in Thief River Falls. Both of you would love for this to happen. So let me tell you this, Josh Price and Rabbi Fine. I have been in the wrestling business for a long time. I have been in the wrestling business for a long, long time to understand that when money is affected, we need to have parameters in place. So, when the time comes, and when I do show up, you are not going to have a reason to put all your failures back on me. So yeah, hopefully there'll be a Destination Pro show coming up for me. Hopefully there'll be a return to Second Wrestling coming up for me. I have a show that I was left off the card on. Apparently they forgot that I was going to be there. But Freelance, I'm definitely going to be there. I will see you in Chicago. And while I have debuts and big shows and opportunities and looking into 2024, one thing is perfectly clear. I am the biggest asset to all your promotions. And without me, the constant question is, where is Darin Corbin? And I'm doing these CorbinCenters to let you know I'm right here. I'm just waiting for you to get your heads out of your ass so I can come back. This is CorbinCenter.